$1 billion business plan, 30 seconds, one AI prompt. Here is the exact AI strategy venture capitalists are secretly using to build trillion-dollar empires.
$1 billion business plan, 30 seconds, one AI prompt. Okay, well, maybe it's not always exactly that simple, but the sheer scale of the tech world right now is absolutely mind-blowing. Welcome to The Explainer, where we're going to dive into the massive numbers dominating today's headlines. We're going to pull back the curtain and uncover exactly how these giant tech empires actually start. You know, things are moving at breakneck speed, but what's so often missing from the conversation is the actual blueprint. How do you build a trillion-dollar ecosystem from the ground up? Let's get into it. Just to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of things right now, let's look at Nvidia for a second. $40 billion. According to recent reports, they've already committed that staggering amount just to equity AI deals. And that's just this year alone. I mean, that's not just your average investment. We're literally watching the capitalization of an entirely new era of technology right before our eyes. The amount of money flowing through the ecosystem right now, it's historic. Now, if you zoom out from those massive corporate deals for a minute and look at the combined valuation of the top companies coming out of just one single startup incubator, I'm talking about Y Combinator, that number sits at a jaw-dropping $1.3 trillion. Trillion with a T. And remember, that represents companies that literally started out as nothing more than a couple of founders and a laptop. So here is our roadmap for today's Explainer. We're covering the modern tech landscape, the startup incubator blueprint, building formidable founders, the AI and infrastructure boom, and finally, the harsh realities and survival.
All right, Section 1, the modern tech landscape. Let's make sense of this incredibly fast-paced, high-stakes ecosystem.
As we just touched on, massive players like Nvidia are moving tens of billions of dollars into equity deals. This is fueling a rapid boom that is fundamentally reshaping the entire economy. It is a total land grab right now. But, with all this capital flying around, it really begs the question, where are the next generation of giants actually coming from? How in the world are they being molded to survive and capture all of this capital?
Which brings us to Section 2, the startup incubator blueprint. How exactly do you get from a simple, unproven idea to a market-dominating titan? Let's look at the foundational model pioneered by Y Combinator.
Their formula is actually quite simple, but man, is it ruthless. It kicks off with a standard $500,000 investment into a really select group of startups. Then, you pack up and relocate to San Francisco for an intense 3-month sprint. Founders are working obsessively to get the company into fighting shape. The whole thing culminates in Demo Day, where they pitch to a massive room of investors. But the secret sauce is that it doesn't end there. They get lifelong support from this incredibly powerful alumni network.
The absolute crucial takeaway here is the sense of urgency this model creates. One founder perfectly summed it up by saying that the program compresses months of growth into mere weeks. And that urgency, it is totally infectious. It usually becomes the most productive period of these founders' entire lives. When you're surrounded by the top 1% of builders in the world, it completely resets your internal bar for how fast can actually be. Moving on to Section 3, building formidable founders. Because at the end of the day, investors aren't really just funding ideas, right? They're funding the people who execute them.
So who actually survives this intense pressure cooker? Y Combinator co-founder Paul Graham defines a formidable person as one who seems like they'll get what they want, regardless of whatever obstacles are in the way. Basically, someone who will just bulldoze through any barrier. And honestly, that's the true secret engine of the trillion-dollar startup ecosystem. It is explicitly engineered to forge these highly formidable people.
And when you apply that intense blueprint to those kinds of formidable founders, well, you get absolute giants. We're talking about Sam Altman from the summer 2005 batch, scaling OpenAI to a $500 billion valuation. The Carlson brothers, who actually went through the batch twice, building Stripe into the internet's $107 billion payment backbone. You've got Airbnb from winter 2009, Reddit from summer 2005. These aren't just businesses, they are literally the foundational pillars of the modern internet. The scale here is just staggering. I mean, hitting a $500 billion valuation is a massive testament to what happens when formidable founders tackle gigantic problems. And today, the most massive problem everyone is rushing to tackle? Yeah, you guessed it. It's AI.
That leads us to Section 4, the AI and infrastructure boom. The newest generation of founders aren't just building the next social network. They are bringing truly futuristic sci-fi tech into the present day.
Just look at the crazy diversity of innovation hitting the headlines right now. You've got Cowboy Space raising $275 million because
and this sounds made up, but it's not, we literally do not have enough rockets for the space data centers we're going to need. Then there's Config, which is backed by Korea's biggest manufacturers, and they're aiming to be the TSMC of robotic data. And over on the software side, you have Replit. They're a leading AI coding platform born from the winter 2018 batch, and they're already valued at over $9 billion.
And it's not just the new kids on the block. Even legacy names in the ecosystem are having to adapt fast. Sites like Dig are pivoting hard into AI news aggregation. Meanwhile, startups like Whisperflow are pushing voice AI into incredibly complex, massive global markets like India. Every single corner of the market is shifting. It's an absolute golden age for building. But, as we all know, a golden age usually comes with some pretty extreme risks. Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Harsh Realities and Survival. Because, let's be real, the headlines aren't only filled with guaranteed runaway success stories.
We are currently watching a pretty brutal dichotomy unfold. On one side, you have this explosive, rocket ship growth. Companies like Kalshi doubling to a $22 billion valuation in just 5 months, or the insurance startup Corgi hitting $1.3 billion a mere 4 months after their Series A. But then right next door, you see the fall. You've got high-profile bankruptcies like the fintech startup Parker, and even massive stalwarts like Oracle dealing with really painful layoffs and severance disputes.
It's a stark reminder that surviving those early days isn't just about getting the tech to work. It requires avoiding catastrophic mistakes, hiring exactly the right people, and navigating a market that is just incredibly chaotic. Right now, the margin for error is effectively zero. That is exactly why being a truly formidable founder isn't just some nice-to-have luxury. It's an absolute prerequisite if you want to survive the drop. The harsh reality? Not everyone makes it. Actually, scratch that. Most don't.
So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this question to chew on. In a high-stakes landscape completely defined by both massive trillion-dollar AI empires and sudden, crushing bankruptcies, are you building a truly formidable foundation? Thanks for hanging out and learning with me today. Keep building, and make sure to subscribe to get more AI business secrets.